This video is basically just gonna be me putting on a face mask and a hair mask and talking about how freaking weird adult life is. That's an odd concept because I'm not even really an adult in my own eyes. But I guess that'll be one of my points I get to in a little bit. I'll also be eating dinner. I don't have time to eat after if I want to go to bed early.
Joke's on you, moron. This is you editing your own video at 11 o'clock at night after eating a whole row of Oreos. You're not going to bed early.
So I'll be eating while I film. It looks gross, but I promise that it's actually really, really good. I had a Friendsgiving. I'm a vegan, and my friends actually made me a ton of stuff that I could eat. Almost everything on the table I could have, which was so cool that they were willing to go out of their way. So this is stuffing, like vegan stuffing, which is just like stuffing but with broth instead of chicken broth. I don't know how you make stuffing. This is a tofurkey loaf that I brought. That's actually excellent. This is sweet potato, and this was not part of Friendsgiving. I have this weird rule where I'm like, a meal has to consist of 3 things to be an actual meal. If it's just 2 things, it's a snack. I don't know what that's about. Come here. This is an angel. An angel. Alright, so I wore a beanie today. That's why my hair is like flat and also oily, because I wore a beanie to cover up how oily it was. The hair mask I'm using is from Lush. It's like the last little bit of this bottle, so I've used it a couple times before, and it's pretty nice. My camera doesn't do that little focus thingy. Wait, okay, so things about adult life that I did not expect. Number one thing about adult life is, for whatever reason, when you're a kid or a teenager even, you're under this delusion that you're like you're done at 18. That's like your full development. You're an adult and like that's it. Or even maybe not 18, but like 21, like that's like you're done cooking at that point. And not only is that 100% false, but also just the weirdest idea to ever subscribe to, because our brains don't even finish developing until we're 25. I didn't learn that until I went to college and studied psychology. So there are people that still are like my age and don't know that. Why do I still feel like an adolescent? And it's because I kind of am still an adolescent. I'm not a full developed adult yet. And yet I'm put into a world where I have to be a fully developed adult. It's just freaking weird. So the second thing I learned is just how young your 20s are, or at least before 25. I can't speak for when I'll be 25. I'm 22 and I've been seeing people get married since I turned 18. I remember being 18 and I'm so glad I didn't marry anybody at 18. And as lonely as I am now, I still really can't imagine myself being married at 22. I don't know what it is, it's hard to describe, but it's just like, I'm a child. Not to say that it's wrong, I'm not saying that it's wrong, I'm just saying it's weird. So number 3, it is so weird seeing your friends be adults. Even though you're all the same age and you've all been the same age together. Facebook has made this like a thing where you watch people you went to high school with, like I said, get married super young, and you're like, you're my age. This is my parents' house. I'm in the bathroom that I've used since forever, filming myself put stuff in my hair. And there are people my age doing way more than that. Having babies. I mean, I know people like, there's teen pregnancy and stuff, but still there's like people deliberately having babies, like getting married and having babies. I haven't even gotten a chance to not be a child, and then the idea that I would have to then raise a child. Think about number 4 now. Realizing that you were only friends with people because you saw them every day in high school. There's a difference between people you were super close with and like were your best friends, and then people that you saw and talked to that were your friends. And both of those come to an end after high school. The people that you were like sort of acquaintances with, you become friends with them on Facebook, and they're like the people that you just start to slowly hate after you graduate for no good reason really, other than you see them on Facebook and like they start to like call themselves entrepreneurs because they sell essential oils, and like, listen, Kelsey, you don't own your own business. Did you start the company? No, so you're not an entrepreneur. People who you were super close with, and then again, it's like some spell, you are under some trance, and after you graduate, you like think you'll stay in touch, and some people do. So I mean, a lot of what I'm saying is probably very circumstantial to myself, but I'm sure I'm not alone in this. where all of a sudden you saw each other every day in school, so now anytime you want to see each other, it's like it takes maximum effort. And even if you had a job in high school, you still had to go to high school, so you still saw that person during the day. But now you both are working, and then one or both of you goes to college, and a lot of times you don't go to the same college, and then things just sort of fizzle out. But anyway, one thing I didn't expect was adult acne. What is that? I did my time. I have had acne since I was 12, and it was like fine. I mean, I had acne, but like it wasn't major. It got worse when I turned 18. Something happened, and I don't know what. Mine got worse at 18 and has continued to be worse than it ever was when I was in high school. It's great. It moved locations. Nice to see that it's finding new real estate, you know, it's really branching out, seeing what its options are. This doesn't immediately happen when you turn 18, but people seem to think, again, this is circumstantial. I had a different upbringing than most. I mean, really, kids tend to think that like once you hit 18, that's like green light to do literally whatever you want. And like that's sort of true, but like sort of not. Because most people, it seems, again, circumstantial, continue to live in their parents' house after they turn 18. So now you have to like navigate this super weird dynamic where like legally your parents can't control you, but like you still live with them and you're still their kid. And like a few months ago, they could control you. So it's like them coming to the realization of you're an adult and you're 18. Honestly, 18, you're not an adult. You think you are, but you're not. I'm still trying to navigate, even now at 22, of like, I tell my mom where I'm going most of the time, but it's not out of like, I have to tell her, but I just tell her like so she's aware of my location in case I don't come back. Really quick before I jump into another point, I'm using Bare Minerals Dirty Detox clay mask. This is the first time I've ever owned a clay mask. It comes with like this little guy, this little plastic dude, and I'm honestly not 100% sure how to use this. So to piggyback off of your relationship with your parents changing, there's also, again, for the most part, a sudden lack of accountability that you didn't realize you needed. Like especially if you move to college, or move out in general, you're on your own. There's no one like making sure, and not just cleaning your room, but there's also like making sure you eat at all, but then also like eat human food, not garbage. You stay up late and then you wake up and like, you don't have to go to class. You should go to class, but like, it's up to you. 'Cause legally, you're not required. It's completely up to me as to whether or not I get out of bed today, and no one can tell me I have to get up. Yes, there will be consequences to that, but... And like food suddenly becomes a super weird thing that like you didn't, or at least for me, you never realized you had to think about, and suddenly now you have to think about. Your parents' house always just had food in it. Now you're in college and you're either on a meal plan, or you are, even if you are on a meal plan, you still like a lot of times buy food to keep in your dorm. At first, when you get there and you're a freshman and you buy food for your dorm, you're like, ooh, I'm gonna buy like Pop-Tarts and like all these snacks and stuff. And then like one day you don't go to the cafe before it closes late at night and you're starving and everything's closed. You're like, uh-oh. Now you're having to go to Walmart to get a can of soup or something because you can't afford anything more. You think you're capable of taking care of yourself until it really is solely on you to take care of yourself, and you realize just how complicated it is to take care of yourself. Another thing I didn't know about adulthood, but at least for girls, shoot, how would... Once I turned 18, I took birth control to like try to help acne. So this also could have just been birth control, but I feel like it wasn't because I saw a lot of people go through this. For girls at least, you kind of gain a little bit of weight at 18 because you're still not done growing. Have I said that already? Like you're still freaking developing. And yet we think we have to be fully cooked at 18. It's not a microwave, ladies and gentlemen, it's an oven. I gained like a little bit of weight. And again, I'm like a thin person, so I was never overweight. I've never been overweight. So this isn't like necessarily to even complain, but it still freaked me out as someone who had always been thin. And it weirded me out, and I thought that like, I was gonna get fat, like here's the freshman 15, like what everyone talks about. So it really freaked me out and like made me kind of spiral a little bit, and I wish someone had told me that honestly that's normal. And then a lot of times doesn't stay. Like I don't still have that weight that I gained at 18. I probably should have some of it because I'm actually underweight right now. You might gain a little bit of weight, just chill, it's fine. You're young and you look at adults, and honestly, the way we sort of define adult, someone who's fully grown, someone who's serious, like takes things seriously. So here's the thing. I don't take a whole lot of things very seriously. So within theory, I may never actually be an adult. It's weird when you see people like younger than you or right at your age act like they're up here on the development chart when really we're all down here. Because here's a secret. No one knows what's going on. And I don't mean just 20-year-olds, because like everyone knows that we don't know what's going on. 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, no one really knows what's going on. And once you figure that out, things become a lot scarier and a lot funnier all at once. It becomes a lot funnier when you're like in a public place. Like I had to vote recently, and like voting something that a lot of people should have already done, right? Or a lot of people have done. But since you don't do it super duper often, you still like don't know how to do it. So there were a ton of people in there who were much older than me who looked just as confused as I was when it came to like the line situation, how to get up to the thing, kiosk, I don't know what it was called. Wasn't registering, but it was like giving them your information so that they gave you like your little card you put in for your ballot. I don't know, for your ballot. Like unless you were working there, you didn't know. So when you realize that like everyone's faking it. Every adult you meet who like acts like they know what's going on is faking it. Because this world is so wildly unpredictable that to even pretend like you have a clue means that you don't. So it's funny, but it's also terrifying because you see people who are like in control of a lot of dangerous things, like nuclear weapons, are under the control of people who, in all honesty, don't know what's going on. Like, none of us know what's gonna happen tomorrow. I think I'm gonna go to work and do my job and go home and, I don't know, do schoolwork. Like, we could wake up tomorrow and the sun could explode and we wouldn't know what to do. Does anyone know what to do? No. Like, it might be your profession, like politics or something might be your profession, but in the grand scheme of things, everyone's just pretending they know. And when in reality, no one knows. I do have one more, and then I'll shut up. One of the weirdest things is suddenly people your age telling you what to do, like being your boss. I can think of specific examples like when I was in college. My school was very strict, so like this is again a very circumstantial example, but like we had a curfew as freshmen, a midnight curfew, because I was a freshman at 19. So my RA, one of my RAs, was 20. I'm 19. And she's allowed to be out after midnight, but I'm not. And she can get me in trouble for being out after midnight. So like she's in charge of me and she's 20. I was 19. And now that I'm 22, and I'm thinking, a 20-year-old in charge of anything ever is just a bad idea always. But then you get jobs, and then I had a job where my superior was a year younger than me. And like, once you kind of get into the 20s, years don't really matter a whole lot. So like, one of my best friends is 28 or almost 29, and like it doesn't really matter. Like it doesn't seem like there's a huge age gap. So like once you get older, that age gap doesn't seem as big of a deal. But it is still an adjustment you have to make when you're, again, I was 20 and my superior then at the time was 19 or even 18. I can't remember. You're telling me what to do. You're bossing me around, and you sort of have the power to get me fired. I'm older than you. And like, I know that's like a thing later on, but it just still takes time to adjust. Being bossed around by someone your own age or younger than you. It's like Lord of the Flies. Like, who are you to tell me what to do? We're all kids. Life literally is Lord of the Flies. We're all here, not by our own choice. We got put here. We're all trying to figure out what to do. to keep the peace. And so now you've got like literal children telling you what to do. And you're like, well, I either should obey those children or become an anarchist. So my name is Zombie Gremlin. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, that makes one of us, so hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe because literally everyone else in the world is subscribed, so if you don't subscribe then we're going to assume you're an alien and we are going to take you in for testing. Again, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video of me trying to validate myself through attention on the internet.
I put my foot in my mouth again.
Skin's gonna crack.